Andrew, how did this happen? What has led up to this point to make Deshaun Watson want to leave?
Well, old Billy Boy, I don't know if you remember old Billy Boy they used to have down there in Houston. Old Billy Boy basically took the entire team that was built and, got rid of them all with the exception of JJ Watt. He was the first one there. They got rid of Clowney. Clowney's gone. The dude with braids, he's in Arizona. Um, so he pretty much got rid of whatever Watson, could have had. And then guy goes, gets fired, has the fallout with Watt and you know they had it. Who was it? Was it Watt? Watt apologized to Mr. Watson when the season ended, saying that they wasted a year of his career. And though I have not been the biggest Deshaun Watson fan for obvious reasons, I do agree. I hate to see any player's career, like a season in their career, get wasted. And he did. He did. This was a wasted season in his career. This was a team that was in the playoffs last year. Remember, this was a team that had a 20-something point lead on the then to be Super Bowl champions,
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs. So, this was a team that, they were built for success. And then old Billy Boy tore it all down. And, Watson it was just everyone was like a domino. And I think Watson's the next domino to fall. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up, though. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but just this is just an entire bungling of this situation, of the organization, of everything by the owner. McNair has run this organization, this franchise into the ground because yeah, think about what they had. They had a very good defense. Yeah, Jadeveon Clowney, who was, productive when he was there. J.J. Watt, who was also productive when he was there. A very solid defense. And you go on the offensive side, you had Lamar Miller, who was doing well at running back. You had DeAndre Hopkins. You had Kyler Fuller. You had all of these guys who gelled together, who were a team. We thought that the Texans were going to be one of those teams who's going to be in it year in, year out for the next 10 years. And to see how far they've come in just one season after they and you're right. The biggest domino that fell was Billy Boy, Bill O'Brien trading away the star player on that team, the best player on that team in DeAndre Hopkins, because he's the glue that held this team together. Whether they went 9-7, 8-8, they were in the playoffs, and a lot of it was due to Hopkins. So you can't say that it was, oh, this is Deshaun Watson being selfish, because there are people out there who are saying, oh, he's being selfish, he needs to just man up and lead the team. There's nothing left to lead. They gave him the entire city. They gave him everything, and he gave everything back as well. He's paying for people's Thanksgivings. He's paying for people's electricity bills. He's given so much to this city. And then they took everything away from him, Andrew. They took it away, and then they left him with nothing. They went 4-12 this year. He's expected to just sit out now. He doesn't care. He's pulling a full Carson Palmer. People forget that Carson Palmer back in, I believe, 2010 did this with the Bungles, and he got his way. Eventually, he waited out until like halfway through the season, but he got traded. And prepare for Deshaun Watson to do the same thing because, and Stephen A. Smith actually alluded to this in First Take, I think, today. He alluded to the fact that this might go a little deeper than just, bad decisions on the football field because, they brought in David Cooley, who is former Baltimore Ravens coach, and he actually has a bit of a rapport with Watson, but that doesn't matter to Watson, apparently. That doesn't matter. The GM move doesn't matter. I think at the end of the day, this has to do with the owner, McNair. This has to do with the way that he has lied to Watson, because originally what happened, Andrew, they said, all right, we're going to let you know about the decisions we make, about GM, about all that staff and stuff. We're going to let you know. You're going to be in there. And when you don't tell him about it, and when you don't involve him in those conversations, after you've told him that you're going to involve him, that's just shady. And after everything that they've done to him over the past year, how is he expected to trust them with his future? They're trading away pieces left and right. They're losing pieces left and right. I remember, I think it was it Kiki Cutie who got suspended for the rest of the year or something, or they're losing pieces. It's not a functional team, and this team has come such a far way. It's so sad.
And
Now,
it's not even like just real quick, and it's not
mhm,
even too like they could pitch to him, oh, like even though we traded pieces, this draft class, the draft class after is loaded and everything like that, it doesn't matter. They have no draft picks. So they have no cap room. They
Miami
have
owns
no
all their
draft
draft
picks.
picks.
Exactly. They have no cap room. They have no draft picks. So it's like, what's his incentive to stay? It's like this team, there's no way in hell they can really get any better.
Mm-hmm.
So his incentive is I'm still young. He has all that money that I think a lot of it's guaranteed. So if that money's gonna be guaranteed, and he's like, listen, these are the best years like that I can give to the NFL, whatever team I'm on. He wants to maximize that. So I don't blame him one bit.
No
I'm
one
not the
should.
biggest Deshaun Watson fan.
Yeah,
His
that's
team is
true.
obviously his team is a roadblock to my team in the AFC South. So we get him out of there. I mean,
You're a fan
he
of
doesn't really
that.
have much.
You're a fan
He
of
really
that.
doesn't. I mean, we get him out of there. I mean, but you look at the landscape of that division though, dude. It's like you have Tennessee. Tennessee looks like they could be. I mean, barring they're the Titans, so the Titans are anything's possible. So, but barring a disaster, Indy's a well-run organization, and you got the number one pick going down to Jacksonville, and they have a bunch of picks too. So plus a shit ton of cap room. So they could be back in it if not this season, the season after. And Houston has no direction right now, so I don't blame him for wanting out.
And remember, Deshaun Watson, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, led the league in passing, 112 passer rating, 70% completion percentage. Starting to sound like that. Mel Kiper Jr., he was amazing this year. So I think that there's going to be a bigger market for him than people think. And it's going to come down at the end of the day, two things. What are the Texans going to want for him, and what are they going to, like, what at the end of the day, what are they going to, like, accept for him? And two, where does Deshaun Watson want to go, and where doesn't he? Last thing I want to actually talk about on this issue specifically, what are the long-term implications for this? Because we know that in the NBA especially, we see stars, forcing their way out of places on the daily, it seems like. Harden just did it. Anthony Davis did it last year.
Even Porzingis, dude. I remember Porzingis forces what Porzingis hours after he asked for a trade got traded.
There are conflicting reports to this day about what actually went down in that meeting. But again, Porzingis, you could put him right in there. Carson Palmer, I mentioned him earlier. He was kind of the first one that I remember that did this. Now, there's been a lot of discussion about, is Deshaun Watson justified in doing this? Is this good for the NFL in long term? And, I've come to the conclusion that the NFL is different than the NBA. And here's why. One, in the NFL, I do think that, these like landing spots, like these like wonderful destinations like Miami, no one's just gonna go to Miami just to go to Miami. Like no one big who wants to win is gonna go to Miami just to go to Miami. And you can't really. It's harder to put together a super team like that because there's so many moving parts to a team. At the end of the day, if let's say Cleveland, if they have the core already and you're a star player and they have cap room, you're going to want to go to Cleveland maybe. That's going to be up there, rather than the New York Jets right now, who are terrible and they stink in a big market. So I think there's a lot more room in the NFL for that. The question is, at what point does it start to erode away at that? And at what point do we start seeing, players like Deshaun Watson, who just signed a new deal, and start trading themselves and saying, hey, I want out. I don't care. I'm not going to play. I want out.
I don't think it's too much of an issue because, like you said before, it's a lot harder for players in the NFL to kind of get together and build super teams because theoretically, the difference between the NFL and the NBA is there's only 5 guys on the court as opposed to 11 guys on the field, offense and defense. So it's a lot harder for guys in the NFL to just get together and be like, yeah, we're all going to get together in Miami or we're all going to get together in LA. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot easier in the NBA for one superstar to get together with 2 of his friends and just be like, yeah, we're going to go to Miami and we're going to make a super team and everything like that. It's so much easier. I think in the NFL too, players don't necessarily care about where they are. They want to be in a winning situation because they realize they have a shorter shelf life than players in other sports, especially, guys would rather they don't care whether they're playing in a cold weather environment, whether it's in a warm weather environment. If they're in a winning situation, guys would rather be in a winning situation in cold ass Green Bay or cold ass New England than losing games in Miami or losing games in Jacksonville. They would much rather be in that situation. So I think from that perspective, the NFL is different. With Watson, this is just him exercising a lot of the power to the player or something like that. Where this is a player realizing, I'm in my prime. These are the best years I'll be able to give. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to give this kind of effort. He doesn't want to go out like a Laurinaitis, or he doesn't want to go out like a Tony Romo. He doesn't want to go out as a guy where, made the playoffs a couple times, never really did anything. And then there were years where he missed the playoffs or something like that too. He doesn't want to go out as one of those players who was really good, but we wonder what could have been. He wants to put himself in a situation to, win Super Bowls, get to AFC or NFC championships, depending on what division or league he's in, and, cement his name. He wants to give himself a chance. I don't blame him one bit.
Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.